Hi, guys. Happy Monday. Another episode of Realtor Hacks, Tips, and Tricks. I'm one of your hosts, Hallie McCrory, originally from North Carolina. That'll come in later. We've got 3 North Carolinians on here today. Live in Texas now. I'm part-time in San Angelo, part-time in Dallas, Texas. Team lead of Empower Real Estate Group, known for selling 100 homes a year. Got my lovely co-host Casey Stiers on, Miss Downtown Guru of Raleigh, North Carolina, but she works the whole state of North Carolina, residential, commercial, very heavy into investments. And we started this podcast just to help other agents, whether you're newer or seasoned, just depends on the topic we're talking about, but really just trying to help all real estate agents become more efficient in their businesses and helping you to learn all the best hacks, tips, and tricks of the industry. So with that note, we've got an amazing speaker. I saw him this May in Orlando speak on AI, and he is definitely the go-to real estate coach for all things AI, especially after seeing him speak. Fellow Greensborian from North Carolina. And we're very excited to have him on. Phil Stringer, everybody. He's the man. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's an honor.
Yes, for sure. No, it's an honor for us. So yeah, we wanted to have you on. I mean, obviously AI has been huge in the past year since I guess I always feel like I get the terminology wrong on this. It's like the public version of Chat GPT was released about a year ago, and I feel like everything really exploded from there. So like I guess I want to know, were you already using AI before, or did you just like hone in on it really early on in the past year and, become just brand yourself as the go-to guy on that? Or can you walk us through that a little bit?
It's been, I mean, I didn't brand myself as the go-to.
Sorry, yes. But not to make it sound like that. Although you do a good job of promoting yourself, I will say.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm a chief operating officer of a mega team in Greensboro, North Carolina. And so for me, the reason why I jumped into AI the way that I did for real estate specifically is because as I was using AI and as I was jumping in, I thought, okay, I'm going to dive as deep as I possibly can into this thing. But obviously, since we have a team, my first thought with AI is, well, how can this help real estate agents? How can this help teams? How can this, boost efficiency and productivity? And how can this actually drive revenue? And so I saw, early adopters of AI and even real estate agents now using it for writing property descriptions or writing a Facebook status or, maybe even crafting an email. And those are all great things and they'll save you time for sure. But I thought, how can we use this to go even further and deeper, right? How can we use this to generate leads and actually grow a business and generate revenue? And so that's why I went so deep into AI. It was for aiding real estate agents specifically. And now it's kind of grown into a ton of different industries. I mean, in my academy, I have doctors, I have software engineers, I have marketing firms. And so it's a majority real estate because that's my focus. But
I see now.
The tools are like, they can help anybody. It can help any industry.
Yes, for sure. I didn't realize that your academy was for outside of real estate as well. But that makes sense because we're all kind of using it in similar fashions.
Yeah, it didn't start off that way, but I had so many industries reach out to me and say, hey, can I jump in? I'm not real estate. And I was like, well, yeah, if you want to. And so it's kind of it's turned into, okay, it's focused on real estate agents specifically. Here's how you use it for real estate. But I think the tools and the tips and the tricks that people get can help with a lot of different things, not just real estate. So
because my mom, she's a health coach. She lives in Greensboro, and I was like showing her stuff that I use with it. I mean, even like helping you plan meal prepping and stuff like with Chat GPT. She was loving it. So
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, one of the things I did, I had a group fly me to Canada and they did a Canadian tour, which was really neat because I had never been to Canada before. So I got to go on this Canadian tour speaking about AI. And in one of those sessions, I went around the room and I said, all right, raise your hand and give me any random thing that's in your fridge. So then I did that to like 20 different people and we typed in 20 different things. And then we made a recipe based off of the ingredients that we had. And each person just named one random thing that was in their fridge. And then it gave us all the instructions on how to cook it and like preheat the oven to 350. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's still helping, like no matter what you do, that's still helping you to be more efficient in your life, which is, I mean, that's a lot of what I try to do. Like I'm, always like, I always have an Audible playing no matter what I'm doing. I feel like I'm always doing some sort of multitasking. I know Casey's the same way.
Yes.
So just like when this came out, I was like, how, like, or especially ChatGPT, like, how can I use this? Like, where can I plug this in? And now it's even funny. My father-in-law, he's a real estate investor, does a lot of like wholesaling and stuff. And he's very Cole, if you're watching this, I love you, and I know you think I think that you're one of the smartest people, but he is very challenged when it comes to technology. So he came to me, and I was so impressed that he even like knew the verbiage. But he's like, "Okay, is there anything with AI where I can do skip tracing and then it'll automatically text?" And I'm like, "Actually, that's a really good point." So that's the next venture maybe, but
I think that's why AI's exploded the way that it has, because when ChatGPT came out, first off, it was widely available to everyone and it was free, right? But it's so easy to use because you just talk to it like a human, that really anybody, regardless of how good or bad they are at technology, or if they like it or don't like it, it was easy enough for them to use. Now, the real power comes when we know what to ask it and how to ask it certain questions, because a tool is only as good as the person using the tool, right? That's true with any tool. A hammer is only as good as the person swinging the hammer. And so you have to know how to talk to it. You have to know what to ask, and you have to think in a certain way in order to get the best result possible. And so when I get people tell me, hey, no, I can't get this result, it's because you're not asking it the right thing, right? It can do so much more than what people realize. We're just not asking it the right questions.
Right. Okay. And that's another thing that I feel like I might be, like I've seen people on like Mike Sherrard the other day, he was typing stuff in, and initially he was like, put yourself in the perspective of a genius real estate marketer or something. Is that something, just I guess while we're on like this topic and examples, do you have to tell it, or is it better to tell it to think in a certain way before you even type anything? Or like, does that make the results that much better?
It changes the result. So every word that you type in will change the results. And so you can ask it to write you something from a certain perspective. What I find is even more helpful is giving it a lot of information about your business goals, your vision, your target audience, what type of target audience you're trying to acquire. So one thing that I do is, before I ever start creating any content or any type of campaign, I'll say, okay, I'm about to ask you for content for my business. Here's my goal. Ask me 20 questions about my business so that you can fully understand what I'm trying to do in business, right?
Right.
Before we even begin. And so it'll come back and it'll say, okay, what's the name of your business? What industry are you in? Who's your target audience? Like, it asks you detailed questions, and I'll answer all of them. Right. So I'll say, look, this is what my goals are. This is the type of audience that I'm trying to get in front of. This is my end goal. After you do that, it's going to reference all of those answers every time it creates content for you in that conversation. Right. So anytime you start a new conversation, obviously it's not going to reference that. But I save the answers to those 20 questions in a Google Doc. And anytime I want to do something else on a different conversation, I'll paste them in and I'll say, reference these answers before you do anything.
Okay.
And any type of ad it creates, any type of email marketing campaign it creates, anything you do, it's going to keep in mind all of the answers to the questions of what you're trying to do, right? And at the end of the day, like, that's the important part. I don't really care if it answers something from the perspective of a celebrity, or if it answers something from the perspective of a marketing, like, that will change it a little bit. But what's going to absolutely change the game is if it references what you're trying to do in your business, because then it's not just a generic thing. It's like what you want it to do.
Yes. Okay. I'm definitely stealing that hack, because I'm very much like, I have a lot of my, just even verbiage I'm talking to with clients or agents on my team. Like, I have little copy and paste deals in my iPhone notes. So that's something I can definitely do. Or even, I don't know, maybe you could even, it might be too long, but even something with like, if you're using Chat GPT a lot, maybe you could have like a text replacement, like just put 1, 2, 3, 4, and that all that comes up, that you could just pop into Chat GPT. I don't know,
exactly.
way to streamline it, but
I mean, you taught me how to do the little put in a few words and.
Oh, for listing description,
or for when you're texting people.
Oh, the text replacement. Yeah, yeah. I'm a big text replacement person.
Mm-hmm.
For sure,
that was life changing. So, and I'm figuring out the whole AI thing. So,
yes.
Were you guys texters back when like you had to push the button 3 times to get to see?
Oh, yeah.
That was the worst. And then they came out with like, what was it, T9, where it was like a little bit shorter, and then obviously it's
I was one of the I feel like I was one of the, well, at least like in my friend group, I don't know about in general, but I got one of those sidekicks where it had like the whole screen. Everyone was like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" I'm like, "Yeah," and then like flip it,
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was so nerdy. But yeah, that we were definitely one of those people.
I love it.
Well, good. So where do you want to take this into? Do you want to go into like Chat GPT versus AI, or like AI tools? Because I feel like a lot of people know Chat GPT now, but don't realize all the different AI tools. Like, for example, like video is one that I use a lot, VIDYO.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go with it?
I can share my screen if you want me to. I can give you a few of my favorite AI apps outside of ChatGPT. I do think a lot of people know of ChatGPT. There are a lot of people who still aren't using it consistently. It's kind of surprising, but I get it. I understand. And even the ones who are using it every single day are not using it how they could be using it. So
I think that's me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of us, honestly, because we don't know what we don't know, and we know about ChatGPT, and it's like everything's at our fingertips. We just don't know what to ask it, right? So what we could do is maybe we jump in. How much time do we have here? How long do you normally do this?
About an hour.
Okay.
I mean, we can go over. Whatever's good for you.
Maybe I just share my screen. I show you a couple different tools that AI, can help people with certain things. And then, we can jump into some Chat GPT stuff. You can ask questions, whatever works for you.
Perfect. That sounds good.
Cool. I'm going to present then, and we'll show you a couple different, things that are.
Oh, and that Canadian flight, was that the one where you were the only one?
No, that was from Oklahoma City coming back home from it.
Yeah, and then they like lost your luggage. You're like,
they lost my luggage. Yes, it's kind of funny because I tell people I'm way more recognized as the airplane guy now than I am the AI guy, which is crazy because it's like I've built my whole business, and it's funny now I'm just the airplane guy. So yeah,
like how one thing can go viral.
Right. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. Do you see Opus Clip? Can you see that?
Yes.
All right, cool. So this is kind of like video. You were talking about VIDYO. I like this better, and it just got released, so it works well, but it's going to be getting better as it goes. So
I've been hearing a lot about this.
Yeah. So this is Opus. Essentially, what it does is you upload a video. It takes the video and it crops it to vertical for you. It adds the captions for you and the emojis, right? The power comes in the AI curation, which it takes the transcription of the entire video, and then it says, okay, this right here, these few seconds, it's going to be a good hook to keep people interested so that they don't swipe away. And then it matches it with relevant highlights to create one short form video. So this could be TikTok, Instagram. And I can actually, maybe I can sign into my account and show you how this works here, because you can upload, like we do training for our team. So I just uploaded some random training. So like this is a 13-minute clip, right, from January. And it gives me, out of that 13-minute clip, I give 8 different potential reels or TikToks. And it gives me a specific score on what it thinks, it could do well or not. So gives you a little description, and then it gives you the actual verbiage of everything that you said. But you can take that, you can edit the captions, edit the emojis, edit the highlights if you want to, straight on the application here. Or you can just download that video straight to your account. You can also post it straight to social. But they're coming out with a lot of really neat features within the next month or so, because it's so brand new. They just launched it and it works well. But you can actually, like, if you've got a 13-minute video, you could say, all right, between 7 minutes and 32 seconds and 8 minutes and 14 seconds, I want you to create a video from somewhere in there. So you can actually be specific with like what you're trying to target, if you know what type of reel you want. But it's all done for you, and it gives you several different options that you can go through and play your clips and see what you like, right? So for an example, this one here, I think I posted, I don't know, maybe a month ago on my Instagram, and it's got, I think it's over 40,000 views already. So it does a good job at like creating this content for you, and you don't have to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I like that it pieces different parts of the video together. I don't think VIDYO video does that on theirs. They just pull from
a
consistent piece.
Yeah.
But I like that one figures out where it can pull from different parts.
Yeah. And the AI is getting smarter. It's there are some of these where you're like, I don't really like that, or I don't really want that to be in the middle. But the AI is getting smarter, and I can see already just in the last couple months since they launched it that it's gotten better. I have used Video, and I do prefer Opus now.
Okay. That's probably what I'll switch to then.
Yeah. And so what you can do, obviously you can download the video, so you can actually edit it if you want to. Like, let's say there was something and you didn't want something in the middle, you could download it and edit it if you don't want a certain thing in there. But it does a really good job at basically giving you a full video that's polished.
Yeah, and you could take that caption, or what am I saying? Like it puts your direct dialogue on there, and you could probably copy and paste that into Chat GPT and say, can you make a
that exactly. So I'll copy this, because this is the transcription of the video. Copy this, paste it into Chat GPT, and say, all right, this is my video, can you make me a caption? And it makes a great caption from that, because it understands exactly what the video is about. Yeah.
So if you wanted your caption, like, are you someone, or do you suggest that you put like or SEO optimized or optimized for Instagram?
I think that you should put what platform you're posting to. You don't need to put like SEO optimized or whatever for like social media. But if you say, write me an Instagram caption, it's going to be completely different than if you say, write me a Facebook caption or write me a TikTok caption, because it knows the demographic of each platform. And so the TikTok is going to be way more upbeat and like kind of, it'll kind of pertain more towards the younger audience, whereas Facebook will be a little bit of an older audience. And so it's not as like, fun and like crazy as a TikTok caption. So, I generally, like, if I'm going to post to all platforms, I'll just say, write me a caption. I won't be specific. But if it is for a specific platform, like a TikTok video, I'll 100% say, create me a TikTok caption, because it will be different.
Yeah. Okay.
Descript. This is another tool that's neat. At its core, it's a video editor. But there is a really neat AI tool on here where you can upload 15 to 30 minutes of an audio track or a video of you speaking.
Yeah.
It will analyze you speaking. Right now. Yeah. And then it creates you a voice that if you were to type in text or paste in text and hit play, it's you reading that text. So it's a really neat feature, because some real estate agents, you think about ways that you could use that. I think the best use is when you have a video and you mess up something or you say something, you can replace what you messed up with the correct word. And it literally sounds like there's no hiccup at all. So that's a great use case of if you were creating some video and you said something wrong or said someone's name wrong or whatever. But you think about it, you could create a property description or a listing description in ChatGPT, paste that into Descript and hit play. Now you have yourself reading that property description. You paste that over a slideshow of the photography, and you literally have a listing video that you did nothing for, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just another added benefit to your client. And they're like, oh, I didn't know they were going to post that on social today, right?
Yeah.
So that's a cool little feature. But I do, let me see if I can actually pull up Descript for you, because when I say that it's a video editor, that really doesn't give it justice. This is, so this video that I just downloaded, right here. I did this the other day for a thing I was doing in Dallas, actually. I was just in Dallas, and I'm going to Dallas tomorrow morning too. So I'll be in Dallas again for a couple days. It's funny.
I wish I was going to be there this week.
Yeah. So I did a thing for a team last week, and I pulled this video into Descript. So this is the video that you get. Now, what Descript does is it gives you the entire transcription of the entire video, right? So if I were to want to edit the video, like people get so scared of editing video because it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, if you know how to use a Word document, you can edit video. So watch this. So tell me if you can hear the audio on this.
If you're not confident in writing an offer, how do you become confident in writing an offer? Well, you write an offer.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say I wanted to cut out, if you're not confident in picking up the phone, Robert, how do you become confident in picking up the phone? You pick up the phone. So I'm going to take this whole thing out, and I'm going to cut out right here. I just select the text that I don't want. I hit backspace. And now when you play it,
confident in writing an offer. Well, you write an offer. And so doing the reps, we have a one-step process.
So you literally, the video is edited based on the text. So you could be like, well, I don't want to talk about the phone at all. You just hit delete. So I could literally take this here and cut that whole section out. And now
confident in writing an offer. Well, you write an offer.
And then it literally just jumps to the next section. So it's super powerful, because if you know how to work a Word document, like you could take this whole section out, hit delete, and now the video is gone, right? And then here's your video now. So you can edit based on text, not based on a timeline or trying to learn a software. Does that make sense?
Yes. It's kind of like Canva. Like, you know how I feel like Canva is graphic design for dummies? This is like video editing for dummies.
Yeah, exactly. So I have every time I show this, the whole room is just like, oh my gosh, like I can do that, right? It doesn't matter how good or bad you are at technology. If you can literally point and click and hit backspace and like remove whatever you want to remove, it edits the video based on what you're removing, like it's a Word document, right? So it's super powerful. All right. Number 3 then is DALL-E 2. Have you played around with DALL-E 2 at all?
I have not played around with DALL-E 2.
Okay.
I have not. I'm still, you just gave me a lesson on AI other week. I'm new in this world.
Okay. So DALL-E it's by OpenAI. So same company as ChatGPT, but it's for images, not text.
Okay.
So if you go into DALL-E 2, essentially what you could do is you could type in whatever it is that you're wanting to generate. Okay. Well, good practice is you can actually go to ChatGPT and say, write me a DALL-E 2 prompt. Here's what I want. And it'll give you a very detailed prompt that you might not have been able to think of. Right. So that's a little hack. But I could type in here, like, what if I were to do, let's do an astronaut riding an elephant on Mars, right? And I could say, then I can give it the specific type of image I want. So whether I want a painting, oil painting, drawing, crayon, like I can literally say, you know, photo realistic, and it'll generate 4 different images of basically what you're trying to do, right? So let's see what it comes up with. Like, okay, here you go. So you've got an astronaut riding an elephant. That's pretty cool. Like, this is probably my favorite one here.
Yeah.
So if you want this one, you say, okay, I like generally where this is going. You can make more variations of it, and it'll take that image and it'll make 4 more, right? Based on, okay, so you're kind of whittling it down, kind of like with ChatGPT, how you kind of have to work at it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got different options. So then I can say, okay, which one's my favorite here? I don't know. Which one do you guys like? 1 through 5. What do you like?
I think I like 1.
I do too.
Okay.
I still have 1.
So this is going to be ours. Now you can edit it as well. So let's say you don't want this moon here, right? You can do that. And then you can put an astronaut riding an elephant on Mars, and it knows that you've deleted that moon. So I could say, you know what, I don't really want some of these rocks. Like, you know, I don't want that. You can regenerate it, and it's going to regenerate the image based on certain things that you removed or erased from the image. And we'll see what it comes up with here. It should spit out 4 more images for us. There you go. So like, you see how now it didn't do a perfect job, but it changed what this was. And this one's pretty much gone. But you look at the rocks, it took out some of those rocks that we put in here too, all over here.
Right.
So it's interesting. You could completely remove, like, probably a better way to describe it is if like you wanted to remove an actual object. Like, let's say we didn't want the astronaut anymore. We could do that, and we could be like
just an elephant.
An elephant on Mars, but we like the rest of the image, right? We just thought that the astronaut looks kind of creepy. And so you can remove things from images, you can add things to it. It's really kind of whatever's in your imagination, and it's interesting.
So how are people using this for real estate?
Yeah, so they're using this, I would say they're using it for promotional materials for social media graphics, like some things like that, because you can go in and say, photorealistic image of XYZ, and you can come up with an image of a house or whatever, right? So they're using it for basically so that they can get an image that's not stock that everyone else has, because these images are 100% unique. No one else has these, right? Mm-hmm. And so if I go on Canva and I get an image of a flower, then 900,000 other people are using that. And so they want something that's going to stand out. Yeah. But you see how now we don't have an astronaut, right?
Does it make, or could it make like logos for people?
It can. It's not good at text though. So like if you wanted your logo to have text, I would use a different application for that. And there's a couple that are really good. I can show you in a second here, but this is more for generating graphics or images. Really neat thing too is you can actually upload an image. So for an example, I have Tina Call or Chuck Fazio. Which one do you want?
Chuck.
All right, so we'll do Chuck Fazio. There's our buddy Chuck.
He's awesome.
And I'm going to edit this image, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a generation frame. So it takes part of the image, but when you go down, it'll actually add part of the image based on what it thinks. So I can literally say a man wearing a black button-down shirt and brown jacket, right? And I generate this, and it's going to say, okay, based on this information here, we're going to generate more of the image down here. And you can do this with any type of image. It can be a graphic design, painting, drawing, but look at that. It generated what it should look like. And I can actually take it and I can go off to the side now, and I can say, all right, well, what if I wanted like more up here? What's up here? I can hit generate, and it'll base it off of this information here, and it'll put some stuff over here, which is super interesting. Let's see what happens. Sometimes it'll give a really, really good result. And, that's not the best because of this weird thing here. But like,
how about like ghost?
Right. So you could say cancel because you don't want it. And then you could drag it over more so that it's like taking more from this image.
Yeah.
And generate it again. And I mean, it'll create, like, I've gone so wide with images where it'll create a whole like landscape of trees and brickwork. It's crazy what it can generate.
Yeah.
So it's just a neat tool, right? So, and then
yeah. Someone asked, can you insert the inside of a house and add furniture?
I haven't tried that. There is another tool that does like a staging type thing. I just haven't tried it out.
Yeah.
There's another image generation tool, which I don't necessarily go deep in, but it's amazing. It can do really, really high level stuff like that. It's called Midjourney. You guys have probably heard of it. So with Midjourney, it's like, it's harder to use. It's not this easy, right? Yeah. Because you have to use Discord to get in. So it's just like, it's a little weird and clunky to like getting in and generating images, but you could 100% do stuff with that. I mean, it'll create whatever you want. This is more of like an easy image editor that uses AI to kind of fill stuff in or remove stuff, or obviously like create something from nothing, right? Like you can go here and you can think up whatever you want to think, and you could generate whatever you wanted to generate, right? This tool, I'll show you.
Tanner in pictures, probably.
What's that?
Like, can it give me a tan in some pictures?
Yeah, you just need to tell it that you wanted to be at the beach.
That's what I'm going to try out.
There you go. Yep. This one here, I got two more that I'll show you, and then we can jump into some Chat GPT stuff. This one here is called Tactic. I use this one a lot. This links to your video conferencing software, so Google Meet, Zoom, whatever it is. And basically what is going on is it's linking to your video conferencing so that when you're done with a Zoom meeting, immediately it creates a summary, it creates an agenda for the next meeting, and it creates action items for each person in the meeting based on the transcription. Wow. Super, super powerful, right? And it works very well. And so what I use it for, obviously with my coaching, like I used to do one-on-one coaching. I don't anymore. I just do group stuff, but the one-on-one coaching, or you could use it for, if you guys do Zoom, buyer appointments or listing appointments. It's amazing because then you can send that potential buyer or that potential listing a summary and be like, here's everything we talked about. And they're amazed every single time. And it does an amazing job. Like, I'm shocked at the stuff that it picks up. I don't have to talk any differently. And I have this whole summary of everything that was talked about. And everyone in the room has action items on, like, all right, Marissa has to do this before Thursday. Here's the deadline. It just picked that up from us talking. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like, okay, so right now I have the Otter AI. I feel like this is just like the Otter on steroids. Like, I feel like I have all the outdated AI right now.
I would say Tactic is better than Otter at that. And probably Opus is better than Video at
I agree. 100%. I agree.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing I haven't learned either of these. So by the time I figure it out, something else will be out.
The AI is moving so quick. That is true. But there's thousands of tools out there.
How do you, I guess before we jump to the next one or jump into this more, what do you do to keep up with AI, with it being, new stuff being released all the time? Are you like, following stuff on Google News, or just like subscribing to different, AI platforms, or?
essentially, like, this is my job. So I'm constantly researching, constantly watching videos, constantly reading articles. There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
What I would say is that as a real estate agent, that's not your job. Like, your job is not to read 4 hours of articles and watch videos every single day. Like, you can't. Your job is to service the client. These tools will save you so much time that you will be able to spend much more time on the things that matter, like the relationships of your clients, building those relationships. And so that's the power of AI for real estate, is that you can take all those low value activities, get them automated or done for you way quicker. And then you can use your time that you've saved to then do high value activities that are going to be revenue generating, which is the important stuff and the relationship stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And I guess we could always do your coaching too if we wanted to
Yes.
get it from the guy who is doing the research 4 hours a day.
Well, and that's the benefit that I tell people. It's like, look, I'm condensing time for you, right? I'm going to give you the best tools to use because I've researched 1,000 of them. You don't need to spend the next 8 months, 10 months, 12 months researching 1,000 tools. That's not going to move the needle for you, right?
Yeah.
Get in the rooms with the people who know the best tools and know the worst tools, so that you don't even have to worry about even looking at them, right? Like, you know what to do. And that's the important part, is get someone who can condense time for you so you don't have to do it.
Someone just asked, how does Tactic compare to Fireflies?
I like Tactic the best out of any tool that I've used. I've never used Fireflies before, so I can't necessarily say better, worse, whatever. But out of the tools that I have used and the research that I've done, Tactic is amazing. Like, I can log in here. Let me see if I can get into my account and literally just show you. Let's see. I think I did Tony Smith. I think I had a meeting with him a while back. Let's see. So if I go to Tony, let's do a coaching call. I mean, you can see Tony and Phil talk about improving his real estate business. It's this entire time blocking, setting sales goals, number of dials and contacts needed. Talk about integrating RedX, KV Core, set a goal of 300,000 in annual income. Here's Tony's action items, read pages 4 through 20. Help Tony with reverse engineering document. It's giving us different, things to do. Next meeting agenda. And then down here, you have the entire transcription of every word that was said in our conversation. And that's what it pulls all the data from, right? So it just does a better job at like creating a summary, and you can go in here and you can edit it. So like, if you're like, oh, well, I want to change this, you can edit that summary. Then at the end, I copy that whole thing. I send Tony an email, boom, and it's done. Right.
Yeah.
So
Tony's like, wow, Phil is on it.
Exactly. He's like, dang, he took some really good notes. Right.
Just AI.
And then the last tool that I'll run through is Designer. And I won't go into very much detail here. It's just, I'll tell you what's possible.
Yeah.
It creates ebooks and lead magnets based on other content. So if you have a YouTube video, if you have a PDF, if you have a blog that you've written, if you have an audio podcast, whatever it is, you can upload that to Designer, and it will actually create you an ebook from that content. So my thing is look, you've done the work to create the content, whether it's audio, video, or written content. You might as well use that content every way that you can. So let's say you did a blog about the benefits of home staging when selling your home. Is it worth it? Well, you paste that blog in a Designer, it creates an ebook for you based on your blog. And now you have a free download that you can offer to your potential clients, right? And what are you doing? Well, you're establishing authority, right? Because you're showing your expertise. But also, if you capture the name, email, and phone of the person wanting to download that ebook, then you have now the contact information of someone who, well, if they're interested in if home staging is worth it before selling a home, then 9 times out of 10, they're probably going to be looking for a home at some point, right? So this is just another way to have a lead magnet to get contact information for leads.
Okay.
Yep. So, question on any of those
No,
before we jump into
that's awesome though. Cause I'm someone like that where I have like a buyer and seller guide and I'm always like, promoting those or
yeah,
And I'm always trying to make mine better, my buyer and seller guide. So yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Cool. Well, do you want to jump into some Chat GPT stuff?
Yeah.
Or?
For sure. Yes.
Okay. So everyone's familiar with Chat GPT. I think a majority of us are. If you're not, obviously Google Chat GPT, you'll find it. It's openai.com is the company that runs Chat GPT. It's extremely powerful. I like to describe it as everything that Google wished that it was, the Google search engine.
Yes.
Because you have a conversation with it and it remembers the history. And so there's a lot of powerful things. But if I were to take a few minutes on Chat GPT, this is what I'll do. And I have a QR code that people can scan where I can give them all of this stuff in a document. That way they have it for free. My top tools, and then some prompts that you can copy and paste for real estate. But ChatGPT, this is what the back end looks like here. I have the paid version and the free version. So everything that I'll do on this call, we'll do on the free version just to kind of show what we're doing. But I want to give you 7 easy use cases of ChatGPT. So if you're taking notes, maybe write these down. This is kind of a basic, and we'll get a little bit more advanced in a minute. But just so people understand what it's capable of doing, number 1 use case would be you can ask it simple questions. Okay. So number 1 is simple questions. So similar to what you would ask on Google, this is informational answers, kind of like it were a search engine. So, I can ask, this is one I do quite often. If I say, who won the Super Bowl in 1996, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so that's the reason why I do 1996. So you have the Cowboys defeated the Steelers on January 28th of 96, right? So that's really awesome. Now, there is a limitation to ChatGPT, and I'm going to go over the 3 limitations and how to get around them in a second. Limitation is it's only trained on data up through September of 2021. So that makes it very difficult for real estate agents because they're like, well, I can do generic information, but I can't get information based on current market data, trends, interest rates, whatnot. You absolutely can. I'll show you the workaround on that in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So number 1, simple questions. Number 2, generate lists. It can generate lists for you. So you could do a list of ideas, hobbies, questions, business ideas, anything you want it to make a list of. It can make you a list, and of however many things. You can be specific with how many you want. You can do 100 things, 10 things, 5 things, 500 things. It doesn't matter, right? Like you can ask it. And so if I were to say, let's say I want to pick up a new hobby. I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. List out a numbered list of 10 potential new hobbies. Make it specific to Greensboro. I can ask it that, and it's going to list out 10 different things. And it actually has like some stuff specifically to Greensboro. So like we have some really good museums here and historic sites, right? So it's pulling based on Greensboro stuff. So you could be very generic with it, or you can be very specific. The more specific you are, the more specific answer it's going to give you. So that's why I say specifically, like, hey, I'm from Greensboro. I could have just asked it, hey, 10 things, 10 hobbies, and it'll come up with 10 random hobbies. But I can prime it to know who I am and what I'm interested in first, and then ask for hobbies, and it'll give me very detailed, specific results. Okay.
Okay.
And again, you're only going to get out of this thing what you put into it. You have to know how to ask it questions, or you're just going to get generic results. Okay. So generate lists is number 2. Number 3 is long form written content. And I'll show you how most real estate agents are writing long form content. And then at the end, I'm going to show you how to actually do it the right way. Okay, so I would say this is 99% of real estate agents. They're going to say, write me a, let's say we're specific with the word 1,000 word blog on the benefit of home staging before selling our house, right? That's the topic we talked about for our ebook, right? So I'm going to write the same blog. That way we can turn it into an ebook, whatnot. So that's what they do. And then they hit enter. Now this will create a blog. It's going to be fine. Like, gives you an intro, gives you different bullet points here, sections, and you have a conclusion. So like, that's good. Most people are taking this, they're copying it, and they're posting it onto their website and creating content. And that's fine. But again, I'm going to show you the way to actually do it here in a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that's number 3. Number 4 is feedback prompts. So you can actually ask it to give you feedback on stuff that you've done, and it'll critique you. Okay. So let's say I wrote a blog, and I'm going to pull up my blog, and I'm going to paste it into ChatGPT, and I'm going to have it tell me, hey, what do you think? Right. So I'm going to copy this whole thing, and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to say, let's say I wrote a blog about time management. Give me feedback on how I could have written it better and kept the attention of my audience, right? Now I'm going to paste the blog in below, and I'm going to hit enter. And what I'm going to get is some feedback. So your blog on time management is good. Here's some ideas where, you can visual elements. I didn't include any images. So maybe infographics, diagrams would have been helpful. Maybe some personal stories, examples. So it's literally giving me feedback on what I could have done. So think about ways that we can use this. Like if you want to go next level, anyone who records their calls in their CRM, you could easily transcribe that call to text and then paste the text in and say, hey, give me feedback on how I could have better acquired the customer.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So then you're almost role playing with ChatGPT. So super, super neat. Number 5 would be modification prompts. You can modify things. And this is so powerful. So let's say I just take my conclusion, because I don't want it to run the entire thing, which I totally can. It's just for easy sake here. I'm going to say lengthen this to about 1,000 words. Now I'm going to put just my conclusion in, and it's going to write me an entire thing just based on my conclusion. And it lengthens it to about 1,000 words, right? Boom, done. Now I could take this entire thing that it just wrote me, 1,000 words, and I could say, write me a tweet, because a tweet is a certain amount of characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
About the following. I can paste the entire thing, and it's going to shorten it for me. There's my tweet with hashtags and emojis, right? Super powerful. So with modification prompts, you can lengthen, shorten. You could reword or rephrase something. So let's say I just take this conclusion here and I say, rephrase this for me. It's going to say the same thing in different words. Boom. It's just written different. So rewording, rephrasing, you can obviously shorten, lengthen, paraphrase, outline, rearrange. So modification prompts is super powerful too. Okay. Yeah. Number 6 then is instructional prompts. This is how-to, guideline, instructions. You can ask it how to do anything. So I could be like, how do I build a birdhouse? And it's going to give me like materials that I need. Here you go. This is what I need. Here's the tools that I need. And now step by step. Boom. Like that's super powerful. So you can ask it like how to do anything. And then the last one, which it can do other things. It can do coding, whatnot. This is just kind of the 7 generic ones that I see most prevalent. And real estate agents generally don't need it to code for them. So I don't get into all of that, right? But the last one is information extraction. You can extract data from text. So you could say, provide me with an outline. You could say, pull this from a book. So I could say, write me a summary of the book, The Gap in the Gain. And here you go. It's a book written by Dan Sullivan, and here's the entire summary. Now I could say, write me a short Facebook post about this book. Awesome. Now, if that's too long for you, you could say, make it half as long. Boom. Now you can say, write me a status now from the perspective of a real estate agent. Like, and so you could say, you know, I want a post on Facebook that will encourage other real estate agents using this information. And now it's like an encouraging Facebook post, right?
Yeah, emojis in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, you can do this for, like, you can literally tell it, hey, my goal is to establish my authority. My goal is to show my expertise. Write me a Facebook post that uses the principles of the gap and the gain. And my goal is to pick up new clients. I'm a real estate agent. Like, you can be very specific with it, right?
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah. So those are the 7. Now, I want to show you 2 things before we jump off.
Okay.
One is the limitations, major limitations. 1, September 2021 data cutoff, right? It does not know what the current mortgage interest rates are. It doesn't know what the mortgage trends are, anything. So there's a couple ways around it. If you're using the free version, I want you to write this down. Go to the Google Chrome Web Store. So you can literally just type in Chrome Web Store. You go to the Chrome Web Store. This is what it looks like. Type in Web Chat GPT. No spaces, okay? Web Chat GPT. You're going to download this extension right here. It has this dark image here. And now when you access ChatGPT through the Chrome web browser,
Yeah.
you get the web access button, right? So you can turn on web access so that your search has access to current data. So I could say, you know, use the web to give me a full summary of the current market, or I'm going to say housing market, current housing market trends, data, mortgage interest rates, and inventory for Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay, so this is all with the free version. Remember, guys, now it's going to process before it gives me an information. So this is literally today's date, okay? And it gives me the entire summary of the data. Now, here's the powerful part. Now I could say, now using that data, and I turned off web access because I don't need it anymore. I got what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Using that data, you know, write me a blog about buying a home in this market, right? Or you could be very specific and be like, how to get top dollar for your listing in a high interest rate environment, whatever, right? But it will use the data and it will actually write you content. This could be videos. This could be Facebook statuses. This could be blogs. This could be email newsletters. It could be literally anything. And you could specify, I want it to be 3,000 words. I want it to be 1,000. Like, this is very much scratching the surface. But now you have data that's real and you're pulling information. You're creating content on real data.
I wonder if people are like trying to predict interest rates like this. I mean, I know there's no real prediction to it, but like,
right. Yeah, I mean,
make some very estimated guesses based off this.
For sure. But where this really becomes powerful is now you can create content, you can create data, you can create videos based on today's market, right? Whereas before, if you were to ask it, hey, you know, make me a video about what it's like to be a buyer in this market, or something about interest rates, or, give me some interesting things that someone can do with their mortgage to purchase a home. It's going to pull all the information from 2021, and it's going to sound like the market that was in September, and it's not, right? So the key is turn on web access, get the information, and then create the content, right? Okay. Another limitation, number 2, is the output limit. So ChatGPT, I don't know if you've experienced this, when you're doing long form content, it will stop in the middle of generating, right?
Yeah.
So if I were to say, write me a 4,000 word blog about current mortgage interest rates, I'm curious if it's even going to do it, because it'll say my data cutoff is September 21, but let's find out. Okay, so this is going to use data from September. So like, this is not going to be accurate data. But what happens sometimes is it'll stop processing in the middle, right? And you don't know what to do. Now there's a workaround around this, where, like, let's say, for an example, let's say I list out 90 content ideas that I can use for real estate. Let's see if it'll do the entire list. Sometimes it won't, sometimes it will, right? Sometimes it'll stop in the middle. We're getting pretty far. Pretty far. Okay, so it got through the full 90. But there are times where it'll stop. You could say, all right, now list me 500, right? You can literally ask it whatever you want. And let's see how far it gets before it stops, because it will stop. When you see, though, lists, it can create you lists on pretty much anything you need. And it keeps going. All right, now look. So it stopped at 124 because it has a data cutoff.
Yeah.
Okay? There's an easy way around this, and so many people don't know this. You literally just type in the word continue and hit enter, and it'll pick up where it left off. So now with numbered things, it doesn't know to put the number at 125. But if you're doing a blog, it'll stop off, like it'll say exploring luxury real. And then if it's doing a blog, it'll literally start with the very next, like, see how this is estate markets and high-end, like that finished what this was, and then 125, but it doesn't always know then to keep this going at 126, whatever, on numbered things. But if it ever stops during a long blog, if you're trying to write a book, whatever, just hit continue, and it picks up with the very next word.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so all you need to do is put continue
and hit enter. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
You're good to go.
Yep.
Love it.
And
I had no idea about that.
One other thing I want to show you guys, which I'll give access to everyone on this call. I don't know if this is going to be a replay or if this is just a live thing.
No, we have replays too. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
this goes to Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well.
Perfect. So I'm going to give free tools to those of you who are on live now. And then when we do the replay, I'll give you a URL to go to if you want to download those same free tools. I have 10 AI tools with links that will help you with real estate specifically. So there's a PDF that's got the 10 tools, 10 links that you can have. And then there's also 10 prompts that you can copy and paste. And these are the prompts here. So like, for an example, create a buyer persona with a list of pain points, 90 content ideas your clients may want to know, creating a complete blog content calendar, creating 10 hooks for ads, generating email newsletters that clients will read, crafting the perfect blog with SEO. Remember how I said there's a wrong way and a right way to do a blog?
Yeah.
Let me just show it to you now. So you have these prompts that I've created for you where you copy it. All you have to do is copy this prompt based on what you're wanting to do. And then anything in a bracket, like you see this bracket here, anything in a bracket is the variable that you're going to put in what you want. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's copy this. Let's go to ChatGPT and let's write that same blog we did before, which I think what we said was the benefits of home staging before selling a home, maybe. All right, so now I'm not going to read you what this whole prompt is, but there's a difference in being very specific and being too generic.
Right.
But what it's telling it basically is I want it to act as a content writer that's proficient in SEO. I'm creating 2 tables. The first one's the outline. The second one is the actual article. I'm literally having H1, H2, H3, and H4 headings, 2,000 word, 100% unique SEO optimized human written article, right? With at least 15 headings and subheadings. So there's a lot of information here, right? Tons of information. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put in this right here, the benefits of home staging, and check out the difference between the blog we wrote earlier and the blog that type of prompt will write. So first off, you've got your entire outline of the article. Look at all this with subheadings and subheadings, right? And then you go into the actual article and it's got the pretty headers, right? Bold, all of this information, highlighting the home's best features, attracting more potential buyers, like all of this information that it's writing. And now it'll continue itself in the next message. So it's basically, if you could say, again, we did this right before, continue, and it's going to continue with number 5, right? Because it just did number 4. So you've got this entire article. And then it ends with an FAQ section for SEO. So with FAQs, you are answering the questions that people have. And with that, Google's going to pick it up and it's going to rank your article better because you're answering the questions that people are typing into Google. Here's your FAQs. Is home staging worth the investment? Can I stage it myself? Does home staging really make a difference in a competitive market? Should I stage every room? How do I find a reputable home staging professional? So here you go. You have this entire article. Is that better than the one that we just did where you said, hey, I want to write an article about this, and that's what most people are doing?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyone has access to this because all you have to do, if you can copy and paste, then you can do this. You do not have to be a tech guru. You don't have to be an AI master. But all of this you can have, and I'm giving this to you guys for free. So let me pull up a QR code that you guys can scan if you're live with us. And then if you're listening, I'll give you a link that you can go to. But I think I have here a QR code. There you go. There's a QR code that you guys can scan if you're live. And if you are on the call and you need to type in a link, then you can go to AI Tools PDF, AITOOLS PDF.com. And there's a free download for you. That way you can get your tools. So you're going to get the top 10 tools, and you're going to get those 10 prompts that I showed you over here. You're going to get all of those for free. So that's basically what I offer people, especially in real estate, just to get started. Now, full disclosure, I have a list that I've created of over 500 real estate prompts. I mean, you can see all of these, anything from copywriting to social media to web to customer service, email advertising, general use. So there's a ton of these, and the people in my academy get access to all 500. But these 10 will get you started, and you can start playing around with it and start using those.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you did this all with the free version of ChatGPT.
Everything was with the free version.
What does the paid version get you?
The paid version is, so you get a little bit better human reasoning. So it does give you better results, a little bit better comprehension. It's almost like a better human comprehension. You get a larger input and output, so it doesn't stop in the middle of stuff as much as the free version does. But then one of the bigger things is you have access to plugins. Plugins are third parties that you can initialize, where I booked my flight for tomorrow through ChatGPT because there's a kayak plugin, right? Yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do with it. There's one plugin called Top Hat, which is for real estate, where you can literally use it to pull up data on property, a ton of data on property. And then you can use it to write property descriptions using actual data from today. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, like the detail with that thing. So you could say, I need to find a 3-bedroom house. My budget is $500,000 and I need it to be in Greensboro, North Carolina. And it's going to list out properties that are within what you're looking for.
Right.
Or you could say, I need a full summary about property 123 Main Street, Greensboro, North Carolina. It'll list out the full summary, everything, property details, everything you want to know. And then you say, okay, now create me a property description or a listing description based on that information. Boom. Full, accurate property description. It's beautiful. It's really a neat plugin.
Yes. I feel like that's one of the hardest things for real estate agents too, is to like get creative with listing description. So this has been awesome for everybody.
For sure.
It's so exciting.
Oh, I think he just X'd himself out. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna put his Instagram banner up too.
There
so
we
you can see that. Oh, wrong one. Okay, that's
awesome.
pretty wild. He's like very detailed with it, which I expected, of course. But wow, that's
so much information.
Here he comes back.
I hit the wrong button. I was trying to send the screen.
Like, oh, bye. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, this has been incredible. Just I love how like everybody's kind of getting on the chat GPT train and starting to play around with these different AI tools, but you really know what to do to extract everything you can from it.
Yes.
Like the best way to milk it, I feel like.
Yeah, it's
and you got me the better versions of everything.
There you go.
So
now you know.
Awesome. Well, any other last hacks, tips, or tricks that you have for our community?
There's a lot of different tips and tricks. I mean, in 1 hour, that's some things that can help you. If you're interested in going deeper, I do a 12-week academy for real estate agents on how to use these tools to generate more revenue.
Yes.
And
you just came out with a book too, right?
Yeah, we had a book that we released this week, The 6-Figure Agent. And so it's been a busy time in the Stringer household for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, the information for the academy, if you're interested, definitely contact me. Probably the best way to do that is on Instagram. I run a massive discount for real estate agents on the AI Academy. It's open to any industry, but for real estate agents specifically, I give a massive discount for that.
And if you guys haven't noticed already, we've got his Instagram running at the bottom here. So
there you go. Yep.
Easy. Just spell Stringer.
Spell Stringer. It's easy.
Okay. Did I make this up or were you on American Idol?
No, I was on The Voice.
The Voice. The Voice. Okay. I did not make that up. Okay. Well, that's another like cool little.
That's awesome.
I feel like you just like have all these like crazy, well-rounded pieces to you too. So.
Music was definitely a huge passion of mine before real estate.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Phil, thank you. He's got a good voice, like speaking voice even. Love it.
I love it.
Phil, thank you again for coming on this week. We really appreciate you. I know you're super busy, so taking the time for our audience.
We really appreciate it.
Everybody, check out his coaching academy. Go to his Instagram, and then look up his book. I guess Amazon or wherever you can find books. I'm sure, right, Phil?
Yep, it's on Amazon.
Your Agent by Phil Stringer. Awesome. Well, good. Thank you again, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Have a good and productive week, and get on using AI and get practicing.
Using your chat GPT.
And now I'll hit the leave studio button. How about that?
Yes. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a great week.